Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
And today we're taking a look at Titan Company. It's their earnings report. But don't worry, we're going to make this fun, I promise.
Yeah, we've gone through all the dense reports and presentations, so you can just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
And we'll give you all the juicy bits.
Exactly. So Titan Company, just a quick reminder, they're a major player in India, a joint venture between the Tata Group and the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. And before we even get to the numbers,
Right.
what was your first impression? Anything jump out at you from the report?
Honestly, it's the scale of Titan that always gets me. You think watches right.
Yeah.
But their market cap is $339.3 billion. That's billion with a B. And over the past year, their revenue has been a massive $51.5 billion.
Wow.
They have over 3,000 stores across India, 11 manufacturing facilities. And they're not just watches anymore. They're into everything from jewelry to eyewear fragrances and even Indian clothing.
Wow. Okay. That's way beyond just watches.
Yeah.
I was looking at their business segments, and there's this one called Emerging Businesses. What exactly is that all about?
So that's where they're trying out some new things. It includes their Indian dresswear brand, Tanera, along with their fragrances and fashion accessories lines.
Okay, Tanera, that's the one working directly with weavers in India, right? Helping to improve their conditions and preserve traditional crafts. I read a bit about that. It's really impressive to see a company making that kind of social impact while they're also focused on growth.
Definitely shows they're thinking about more than just the bottom line.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the bottom line, let's talk about how Titan actually performed in Q2. Overall, it's pretty positive.
Yeah.
But there are some interesting details we should probably unpack.
Yeah. And from the management's comments, it sounds like Q2 was a big rebound. After a bit of a slow start to the year, the jewelry segment is doing incredibly well, and their watch segment is also seeing a strong comeback.
Exactly. And digging into the specifics, one thing that really jumped out at me was the growth in analog watches. They're up over 25% year on year.
Yeah. In a world dominated by digital devices, it's fascinating to see that kind of resurgence. It's like there's this enduring appeal to a well-made analog watch, almost like a statement piece.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It reflects a larger trend we're seeing, not just in India, but globally.
Yeah.
Premiumization. Consumers are valuing quality heritage brands, owning something unique, something with a story.
Yeah, so it's not just about telling time. It's
Good.
about making a statement. Though I did notice that the report also mentioned some profitability challenges,
Right.
mainly due to changes in customs duties and the investments they're making for future growth.
Yeah, those are definitely important factors to consider. It shows that they're in it for the long haul. They're willing to invest now to make sure they have sustainable growth in the future.
Makes sense. And speaking of investments, let's talk about the jewelry division because they are killing it this quarter. 25% year-on-year growth in domestic income. That's huge. What's driving that kind of success?
Well, a big factor is a recent change in government policy. They reduced the customs duty on gold, which made it more affordable. So demand surged. It's like a gold rush. And Titan, being a leading jewelry brand, was perfectly positioned to benefit.
So more people buying jewelry. And probably more expensive pieces too.
Exactly. Both buyer growth and average selling prices have increased significantly. But here's where it gets interesting. While studded jewelry pieces with diamonds and other gems also saw strong growth, there was one category that didn't do as well: solitaires.
Solitaires? Those big single diamond rings, why weren't those selling as well?
It seems like consumers are being pretty smart about it. With international diamond prices softening, they're taking a wait-and-see approach. They know that if they hold off for a little bit, they might be able to get a much better deal on that diamond they've been eyeing.
Smart shoppers. So if you've been thinking about a big diamond purchase, it might be worth waiting a little longer. You could get a great deal if those prices keep dropping.
Exactly. Now, speaking of Titan's jewelry business, we can't forget about Carrot Lane.
Their online platform, right? They're another success story. 27.9% year-on-year increase in total income. I've seen their ads. They're really creative and eye-catching. It seems like they're connecting with a younger audience.
They've done a fantastic job of building a strong brand presence online and tapping into that digital-savvy consumer. Two key factors are driving their growth. One is the shift in their product mix towards studded jewelry, which now makes up almost 80% of their sales.
Wow.
And the second is the success they've had in acquiring new customers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Studded jewelry is generally more affordable than big solitaire pieces,
Right.
so it makes it accessible to a wider range of people. Plus, they've had those really impactful ad campaigns, like #WearYourWins, encouraging women to celebrate their achievements with a little sparkle. And then there's special collections like Peak and the Disney collaboration.
Absolutely. Carrot Lane is proving to be a real growth engine for Titan, and they're showing how to effectively blend digital marketing with a strong product strategy.
Okay, so jewelry's booming, and we've got those savvy diamond shoppers to keep an eye on. But I want to go back to the watches for a second. We talked about that analog resurgence, but what's the expert take on why this is happening? Is it just nostalgia or something deeper?
I definitely think it's more than just nostalgia. That 26% year-on-year growth, particularly for the Titan brand, points to a real shift in consumer preferences. Remember that premiumization trend we talked about?
Yeah.
It's playing out perfectly here. The Titan brand saw an amazing 32% growth, which really showcases the brand loyalty and that aspirational value associated with their watches.
So it's about that desire for quality heritage craftsmanship.
Mm.
And it's not just Titan brand watches.
Yeah.
Sonata and Fast Track, both owned by Titan, have also seen double-digit growth. Looks like they've got all their bases covered.
They do. But what about their wearables? I thought those were supposed to be the future of watches.
Right.
Well, the wearable story is a little more complex. While they did see volume growth, meaning more people are buying them, the average selling price actually went down, which led to a 13% year-on-year drop in revenue. It seems like consumers are becoming more discerning, even in the wearables market.
Huh. I had no idea the wearables market was so price sensitive. Makes you wonder what people are really looking for in a wearable these days.
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that Titan is definitely thinking about. They clearly see wearables as a part of their future, but they're also realistic about the challenges and adapting accordingly.
It's interesting how they seem to be balancing this embrace of new technology with a deep understanding of their core strengths. They're not just chasing trends, they're evolving strategically.
Exactly, and that's a big part of what makes them such a fascinating company to follow. They're constantly innovating, pushing boundaries, redefining what it means to be a leader in the lifestyle products industry.
Very well said. So we've covered a lot of ground here in this first part of our Titan deep dive. We've seen how they're thriving in the jewelry market, riding that analog watch comeback, and navigating the complex world of wearables. But there's more to Titan than just jewelry and watches.
Right.
We haven't even talked about their eye care business or those emerging businesses. So are you ready to dive back in?
Let's do it.
Perfect. Now, I got to admit, when I think about Titan eyewear, isn't the first thing that pops into my head,
Yeah.
but they actually have a pretty big presence in this market.
It's bigger than a lot of people realize. They operate over 900 exclusive Titan Eye Plus stores all across India, offering a wide range of frames, lenses, sunglasses, contact lenses.
900 stores. That's a lot of glasses. And the report shows their eye care business grew almost 7% in Q2.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's a solid performance,
Yeah.
especially considering they were going up against some really strong numbers from last year. What's driving this growth is the increasing demand for both frames and lenses, which saw pretty healthy double-digit volume increases. So people are definitely seeing the value in Titan Eye Plus. But what about sunglasses? Did they see similar growth?
Sunglasses sales actually dipped a little this quarter, but that's mainly because of the time of year. Q2 isn't exactly peak sunglasses season in most parts of India.
Yeah, true. People are probably more focused on staying warm than blocking out the sun.
Yeah.
But I did notice the report mentioned a big jump in sales for international eyewear brands.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting trend. Sales for international brands were up a huge 53% year on year.
Yeah, the power of those big names.
Yeah,
It seems like even in eyewear, premiumization is playing a role.
absolutely.
People are willing to shell out a bit more for the brands they recognize and trust.
Consumers are associating those international brands with higher quality style and even a sense of aspiration, keeping up with the Joneses.
It's not all about the premium brands, though. Titan Eye Plus has also been rolling out more affordable options to cater to a wider range of customers.
That's right. They just launched a new line of fashion frames and lenses at really competitive prices, trying to grab a bigger slice of that market, especially among younger and more budget-conscious consumers.
Makes sense. They're making eyewear accessible to more people while still offering those premium choices for people who want them.
It's a smart move, allows them to cater to a whole range of needs and preferences, similar to what we see in their watches,
Right,
with those affordable Sonata watches all the way up to the premium Titan brand.
right. Speaking of diverse offerings, let's talk about those emerging businesses. This is where Titan is really experimenting and looking for that next wave of growth.
For sure. These businesses might be smaller now, but they could become really important for Titan's overall success down the road.
We've got Indian dresswear with the brand Tenera fragrances
Yeah.
and fashion accessories. Tell me more about Tenera. I'm really interested in their work with weavers across India.
Tenera is all about Indian heritage and craftsmanship. They make these beautiful handcrafted saris, which is a traditional Indian garment,
Right.
And they work directly with weavers all over the country, making sure they get fair wages and helping to preserve those traditional weaving techniques.
It's so refreshing to see a company like Titan putting so much emphasis on social impact along with their business goals. It's not just about profits. It's about empowering those communities and preserving that cultural heritage.
Yeah, and consumers are responding to that. Tenera has been expanding their retail footprint, opening 4 new stores just in Q2, bringing them to a total of 81 stores in 41 cities, clearly connecting with customers who appreciate the quality, the craftsmanship, and those stories behind the products.
It's a great example of how business can be a force for good.
Yeah.
Now, what about fragrances? What's happening there?
Fragrances are another area where Titan is seeing some exciting growth. They had a 19% year-on-year increase in revenue, driven largely by their brand Skin, which offers a range of perfumes and deodorants.
Oh, interesting. I haven't tried those yet, but I'll have to check them out. And finally, what about fashion accessories?
Their fashion accessories business, which includes fast rack bags and iFark bags, is also performing well. Both brands had strong double-digit growth.
So overall, it sounds like these emerging businesses are showing a lot of promise.
Yeah.
They're getting into different markets,
Yeah,
catering to different needs, and putting up some solid growth numbers.
exactly. And that's what makes them so interesting. It's a big opportunity for Titan to spread out their revenue streams and build a really resilient business that's going to last.
It's great to see a company that isn't content to just sit back and relax. They're always exploring new things, pushing the boundaries, finding innovative ways to connect with consumers.
It's a great example of what we call a growth mindset. They're always looking for ways to learn, adapt, and evolve. And that's how you stay successful over time.
Definitely makes you wonder what they'll come up with next. They seem to have a real knack for figuring out what's coming next and creating products and experiences that people connect with.
For sure. And that's actually what we'll explore in the last part of our Titan Deep Dive. We'll dig into their overall financial performance, see what their key strengths and challenges are, and try to figure out what the future holds for this Indian powerhouse.
Welcome back to the final part of our Titan Deep Dive. We've seen their moves in jewelry, watches, eyewear, even traditional Indian clothing. But an earnings report isn't all about the exciting stuff. It's about the numbers, too.
True. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at their overall financial performance for Q2.
All right, give it to me straight. What's the bottom line here?
Their total income for the quarter grew by a solid 14% year-on-year, which is a really healthy increase, especially when you consider what's going on with the economy in general.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But like we saw earlier, there were those profitability challenges. Did those have a big impact on the overall picture?
Well, those factors, combined with some increased marketing spending, did lead to a slightly lower profit margin compared to last year.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that they're investing a lot in these growth initiatives. They're not just trying to squeeze out every last rupee of profit right now. They're building something that's going to last.
It's like they're playing chess, not checkers. They're thinking long-term.
So what would you say are Titan's biggest strengths? What's really driving their success?
One of their biggest strengths is their super diverse portfolio. They're not just relying on one product or category. They're strong in jewelry, watches, eyewear. And they're rapidly growing those emerging businesses. That diversification helps them deal with economic ups and downs and take advantage of new trends as they pop up.
And they're also really good at adapting to those trends, like we talked about with the comeback of analog watches and that shift towards studded jewelry. It's like they have this deep understanding of what people want.
Exactly. They're always innovating and tweaking their products based on what they're hearing from consumers. Plus, they're not afraid to experiment, like we see with those emerging businesses, trying new things, learning from their mistakes, and constantly evolving.
I love that about them. They're not just following the crowd, they're blazing their own trail. But every company has challenges, right? What are some of the headwinds that Titan might face down the road? Well, one challenge is the increasing competition. They're facing pressure, both from companies in India and from international players. The Indian consumer market is getting more sophisticated and demanding every day. People have more choices than ever, and they expect high-quality value for money and a smooth shopping experience.
So Titan can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing the envelope when it comes to innovation and customer experience.
Exactly. They need to stay agile and adapt quickly to stay ahead of the game. Another challenge is all the economic uncertainty going on globally. Rising inflation, volatile commodity prices, and geopolitical tensions. All of these things can affect how much people are willing to spend and create a tougher business environment.
It's true. But Titan has been through tough times before. They have a really solid track record and a proven ability to handle those kinds of situations.
Definitely. And their focus on sustainability and social impact is another major strength. It resonates with people who are thinking more and more about the values of the brands they support.
It's not just about what you sell, it's about how you sell it. And Titan seems to be proving that you can be profitable and responsible at the same time.
Well said. So, to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway from all this? What should we be watching for with Titan moving forward?
Well, to me, it's clear that Titan is a company that's going places.
Okay.
They're not satisfied with standing still. They're always innovating, expanding, evolving. They're a force to be reckoned with in India, and they're looking to make their mark globally.
I agree. They're this fascinating blend of tradition and modernity rooted in Indian heritage and craftsmanship, but also embracing new technologies and global trends.
It makes you wonder, what's next for them? Will those emerging businesses really take off? Will they become a major player on the international stage? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Titan is a company worth watching.
And there you have it, folks, a deep dive into Titan Company, one of India's most exciting and innovative businesses. We explored their financials, their diverse range of products, their strengths, their challenges, and their commitment to doing business the right way.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you found it informative and insightful.
And maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Until next time, keep those earnings reports coming, and we'll be here to break it all down for you.